It depends. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you can have a broke female and it works.
Mm.
A broke dude can only fake but for so long.
I mean, shout out Baby Boy.
You know what I mean? It's like, what we see, he had pipe. You see,
And Tom.
you dig what I'm saying?
True, true. That was
You know,
that was pivotal in the movie.
it's like if you can. You can eat it and knock it out the pot. You know what I mean? You can
And knock it out the park.
you get plenty of tax money during this time of season.
Plenty tax
Yeah, is that?
money. I cannot.
But with that said, welcome to Film Nuts.
That's how you start an episode.
Oh man.
Oh, boy.
As always, I'm James, and I'm joined again with Christina and Devin.
Big Dev Comedy, aka Big Dev from the group Home Baby, aka 757 favorite play cousin.
Hashtag cut the check.
Hashtag cut the check. Hashtag you stick man. You know what I mean?
You stick, man.
You stick
I ain't
man.
heard that in a minute.
I guess by now, y'all no longer special guests. I guess
I'm always special.
Ed. We co-host.
Haters gonna say Ed.
We co-host. You know what I mean? The Sunday school edition of Film Nerd.
Sunday school edition?
Sunday school.
How about we just go with Sunday special?
Sunday. I mean, we schooling people.
What? Okay.
I mean, I ain't trying to get struck by lightning over here.
For real.
What you mean?
What kind of Sunday school churching is we providing?
Yeah, I mean, nah. So
We just get done talking about Baby Boy.
So what it got to mean with that anything?
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard about anything about Baby Boy while doing the Sunday school.
How do you think the Sunday school kids show up to school? Show up to Sunday school. If somebody wasn't baby boying, then these baby boys and these baby girls.
See, the problem is we entertain you because you sound so sure. And it's just
truth.
a foolishness wave that follows.
It's the truth. You know what I mean? If somebody won't get in their Jody on, you know what I mean?
I hate you, Jody.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, first you hate Jody, then it's skin smack, skin smack, skin smack, skin smack, skin smack.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah. So moving on.
Tyrese cut the check, baby.
So today we be doing a movie review on the best picture of 2019.
Yeah.
Parasite.
Parasite, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Parasite.
Wow.
Parasite.
and for those who
It was a
have
while.
been under a rock, the movie, of course, I said it won Best Picture at the Oscars, and also Best Director.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was directed well.
Yes.
It was a good picture. I can't
I
deny.
would say good cast, good, picture, like visually, like it was dope.
Yeah, it makes you want to stop talking junk about like the people that work at your local
Anything?
China Garden or anything like that.
Wait.
Because everybody in that cast look like
Somebody you seen before?
look like they cook something in 5 minutes.
Okay. Ready 10 minutes.
You want egg roll?
What we not finna do.
But Parasite is a Korean black comedy thriller directed by your boy Bong Joon-ho. I hope I pronounced that right.
Boy, you know you messed that all up, boy.
I think it's June-ho. It's too early.
Jun-ho, Bong Joon-ho.
Well, it was directed by a hoe. That's all you need to know.
Focal points, yeah.
And he also co-wrote the script with
Here you go. That name is Butchit.
Han Jin-won.
There it is.
Again, we cannot be held responsible for the mispronunciation
Yes.
of these Korean-based names.
I am not Korean or Asian or any of those. So I'm sorry. I apologize now. But for those who don't know, Bong Joon-ho.
Killing it.
I mean, you was slaughtering them names.
Killing it.
Texas Chainsaw Statue.
Some of his I guess his most popular movies in America are Snowpiercer and
Excuse me?
Snowpiercer.
As in, like, to urinate, pisser?
Nah, uh, the Pierce. Snowpiercer.
Oh,
Oh,
Piercer.
Pearson.
Yeah.
Hey, look, right. I was like, yo, somebody made a movie about turning white snow and yellow, you know?
and and the one Netflix movie with the elephant.
Right, look, you know it's bad when somebody got to say.
Oh,
you see the squid? Y'all know that movie.
Okja, Aqua. It was some.
You know, sometimes you just gotta let it go. You know what you did. Google them. Move
Right.
on.
I know it came on Netflix a couple years ago with some kind of weird elephant like looking feature.
Oh wow.
It was vaguely popular a couple years ago.
Boy.
But he's actually known for putting a lot of social themes in his movies, and he likes to mix genres. He used a lot of black comedy, and as we saw in this movie, he likes to use a lot of tone switches in his movies. You know.
So I have a question. So in the Korean world, black humor means dark humor. Is that right? So I would have. My mind didn't think that automatically.
I was about to explain that to the viewers and the listeners. When they say black comedy, they mean as far as like the humor is a little bit dark. They're not talking about Chris Rock, you know, or Kevin Hart. You know what I mean?
Or your boy.
Oh, your boy. You know, Big Dale coming straight from the group home, baby.
Okay.
But yeah, so the film stars a lot of foreign actors.
That look like they work at Channel One.
But a lot of them have always worked on many of his older projects.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, like a chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, they flowed like crazy. I was like, I almost forgot these were actors. I thought we was really getting an insight on a crazy story.
But the kid who plays Kevin, I not know if y'all see this movie on Netflix. He plays in the movie Train to Busan.
I don't even know what that's at.
It's a pretty good film. You should check it out.
Okay, and you said it's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's a zombie film.
Oh, word.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But
I think I've seen.
everything takes place on a train.
Whoa,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
that's cool.
Subtitles too?
Huh?
Is it subtitled too?
Yeah, it's subtitled.
You know, it's funny. Well, I'll get to that later.
But pretty much the movie follows the Kim family who are poor and receives the opportunity to for a come up once
Maybe.
Kevin's best friend who tutors this rich high school chick, he goes aboard, and so he recommends Kevin for the tutor job. So once he gets this job, him and his family start running this long con on the family.
A long con.
And he pretty much gets his sister in as the little boy's art teacher or art tutor, you know, and they get the driver fired and hires the father as the driver, and then they get the housekeeper fired and get the mother in, but the con is they always like they're not related in the con, you know.
Right.
They're always like a friend of a cousin or a friend of a classmate. You know?
Somebody off Craigslist.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so everything goes well for them in the beginning, until one day when the family goes, the Parks family, the wealthy family who they work for, they go on a camping trip, and for whatever reason, the whole family decides to live in the house. start to squat at the house.
Yeah.
While they're gone, you know.
Yeah, they have a sleepover.
They
That somebody
get
else
licked.
created.
Yes. Drinking all the alcohol, all the food.
And the good alcohol.
The good
too.
alcohol.
Yeah.
You know.
Sis was knocking back Patron like it was water.
They have that aristocrat over there.
They ain't had that aristocrat.
Definitely did not.
They ain't had that Burnett's vodka.
So things start to go wrong when the old housekeeper comes back to the house saying that she left something in the basement.
Which she did.
And she did.
Yeah.
No lie there.
Don't forget she came with a whooped ass. Don't forget that part.
That part.
So it's revealed that she has, for the past 4 years, she has been hiding her husband in the basement.
Right.
You know, because what happened is she was the previous housekeeper for the guy who built the house, but he moves to the States and he recommended her to the Parks family. And being since they are a poor family, in order to, I guess, provide a home, she stashes her husband in the basement, you know. And when she got fired, there was no way for her to go back to the house and feed them, you know. So she comes back when they're gone, and everything starts to go to hell. And in the top it all off, the family comes back home early due to a big rainstorm and the campsite being flooding. Mm-hmm. So they managed to, in a very suspenseful and funny course of events, they managed to get out of the house, and they pretty much try to find a way to cover up the steps, which leads to Kevin, planning on killing the family in the basement after finding out that his dad really didn't have no plans. You know, if he felt like the best plan is no plan, which kind of makes no sense to me. But
yeah, it's very poor very cowardly thinking.
I get it though. I dig it. Right,
You know.
we can go with that later.
So things goes haywire as the husband in the basement. Got old powers, Kevin.
Say the least.
And he leaves him bleeding out on the floor, which he's presumed dead, but you find out he lives advised and has some kind of like head trauma. But he does end up killing the sister, but the mother ends up screwing him, and which leads to him dying. And after Mr. Park has a not so friendly, how should I put it, interaction with the guy and the key, you know, because like he doesn't like the smell of pretty much poor people, you know.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Kim finally has enough, and he stabs Mr. Parks, and goes in hiding, which is revealed he goes hides in the basement, and starts leaving his son. Once he recovers Morse code, because that was another point that comes up that the guy in the basement was doing. So at the end of the movie, it's kind of up to interpretation, or rather, because Kevin writes a letter saying that he's gonna get money, buy the house, and pretty much free his dad. But it ends with him being back at home, you know, writing. So it's up to your imagination on whether he's
Makes it a reality.
yes. So that pretty much is the plot of the movie. Kind of long, but what do y'all feel about the plot?
I mean, you could tell there's going to be a build up. I mean, from Jump Street, you see, okay, this is a con artist movie, and every step of the way, they're conning their next family member in for the come up, as so eloquently said. And okay, you said this has got to fall apart because they even have a reality moment within themselves when they're just like, okay, well, if you get in good with the daughter and y'all get married, like, how are you going to explain your family? We got to hire actors to be your family because we've been lying about being related to you all this time. So it even within itself recognized there's a little bit of a weakness in this plan, but right now it works because everybody's getting money. I did not see so much murder in the forecast. I mean, some of my favorite characters, like the daughter, Kai Jun, she had been a badass the majority of the film. I really thought that she would, ultimately have a bigger fight when everything's kind of fall apart, which she did to a degree. Like the former housekeeper had a peach allergy. So most people, when you're trying to get an upper hand on somebody, you go into the kitchen, there's knives, there's cleavers, there's pots and pans that could be dangerous. Sis goes and grabs a patch of peaches and sends the housekeeper into a coughing fit because she's highly allergic. And that kind of lightheartedness, I find that kind of entertaining. It's like, of all the things you could do to attack somebody, here's your allergy, bitch. You know what I mean? But then for it to really take a turn, it's just like, reality sets in. It's like, we're poor. We're always going to be seen as poor. Even the dad having that moment, it's like, no matter how much money I make, how much finessing I do, I have that smell that rich people are going to complain about behind my back. And if nothing else about my situation brought me to the brink of I'm sick of it, that does it. And you see that in the ultimate barbecue scene or birthday scene when he just says, he could have got away without any injuries at that point, and he went straight for the dad. It's like, you're not gonna keep disrespecting me, and got that stab in. And I was just like, man, this has so many levels of, I don't even know what, whether or not, how do you trust somebody? Because they trusted this kind of referral, this word of mouth referral system, which we all do. And just how far would you go for your come up? How much of it is this hustle is really making an opportunity for yourself, and how much this hustle is taking advantage of a system that's in place. So I thought it was all the way dope. I was entertained by the characters. I was entertained by the plot twist, and then the progression of it. It's the film itself was only about 2 hours or so, which nowadays is a standard, but it really felt like you were going on a journey, you saw from the roots to everything, and you kind of was rooting for them even though they're doing this family kind of dirty. So I enjoyed it.
Shout out to Mr. Ho for a wonderfully directed movie. It was a roller coaster. If I had to break down the plot, real simple, I would say it's con artists who've truly been conning themselves, and then they come to the light. You dig what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because that seemed like it was the ultimate fight in the movie. It was self versus self. Mm-hmm. And then that reality kicks in when it's okay, so if you're from the era that I'm from, we call it the okie doke. And that's what the Kim family was pulling. They were pulling the okie doke, and they were doing it marvelously. You know what I mean? But the thing is, they were doing it so well that they were buying into it themselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's when you got to look at the man or the woman in the mirror and be like, can I do this for the rest of my life? Because you're not really being you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's I'll always be Big Dev from the group home, but I'm still Devin at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And Devin and Big Dev is one and the same. But they're putting on complete characters. Mm-hmm. And for the dollar. And I mean, and they pulling it off because they Googling, you know what I mean? Shout out to the Continental Connection. Cause I ain't know what Asian Google was, you know what I'm saying? I ain't know, what an Asian Google, but it's just Google, you know what I'm saying? And they had the WhatsApp. Shout out to the WhatsApp in that joint. But and shout out to the fact that the Asians they go through the struggle.
That was a different kind of struggle. They was living on the basement level.
Yeah.
Cause Tina and James, they being nice. These people weren't poor. They were impoverished. They, you know, and to keep it just, they were broke as hell. You know what I'm saying?
Keeping it G.
You know, when you broke as that joke, but it ain't nothing to laugh at. That's
funny.
what they was saying right there. They were
different.
broke as hell, and they played it well.
Borrowing Wi-Fi for the neighbors.
Man, listen, boy,
Borrowing.
you know what I'm saying? Man, listen, and then to the point where they get upset. So you know the struggle when you borrow Wi-Fi, and then the new password come up, and y'all know your neighbor so well that you've been stealing Wi-Fi from. You know potentially what the password is, because they was like, "Did you try 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9?" He's like, "Yeah, I tried that." "Well, did you try?" "No, I tried that too." You know what I mean? It's like, damn. And then they know all the struggle tricks. The daddy was like, "Look, hold it up to every corner, and you're gonna find the connection." You know what I'm saying? And it's like for all
In the bathroom is that.
in the bathroom
Of all the places.
and out of all the lessons that a father can pass down to a son, you could pass down the hustle how to get free Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? You know, not the secret golden Mac rule to get a woman. You're not passing down no trust, no stocks, no bonds, no nothing. You passing down how to get free Wi-Fi.
Hey, free Wi-Fi come to the world.
And I mean, I can dig it. I feel like James was saying, I don't know too much about Mr. Ho, but through the vision, you can see how they cross genres with the comedy and thriller, and how he used different. What was the thing you were talking about? It was a crossing of the genres, but it was the different tones, the different tones, and the cultural references. Because you saw the conflict, you saw the internal conflict, self versus self, and you saw the man versus society complex. Because the father of the poor family had got to a point where he was tired of being poor. You know what I'm saying? And tired of being seen as less than.
Yeah, I think it was less of the poor and more of the disrespect that came with it. His wife doesn't respect him, his daughter doesn't respect him, and now his employer, openly talks junk about him.
And I think that's a social string that the director pulled on, because everybody is trying to make it. You know what I mean? And it's like, and as a man, just pulling on the heartstrings of a man is like, you want to be able to provide. You know what I'm saying? One of the most heartbreaking points of the movie, to me, was the point when they were eating at the restaurant, the driver's restaurant, and the father said, "Eat as much as you want, kids," and then the mother was like, "They paid for it, right?"
And she was saying that they didn't pay for it.
No, she was saying that the kids,
the
children paid for it. And it's like, and then you saw the father like dumping his food onto the son's plate and stuff like that. And I feel like appreciating the journey of cinema. I feel like those subtle moments show like what is making or what is changing the character's character inside the film. You dig what I'm saying? I feel like it was a very eloquently constructed piece of disasters waiting to happen, and I feel like the humanity in me saw that these people, because what got them caught up was them trying to crash into the place like it was their own, and them having that moment, like they're saying like this is our place in this moment, and then it's like that's when the mama called the daddy the cockroach. You know what I'm saying? But it's like damn, it's like you're so low on the totem pole, you feel so low on the totem pole that you're trying to borrow somebody else's moment, and in reality quickly sits in.
Real quick.
quickly sits in when it's like when the people that you call, and I feel like that's another lesson in you reap what you sow, because Karma was a bee, boy.
She came with Swift.
And boy, Karma came. So, and it's like you can't wrong people, because the other heartbreaking point, and another like significant heartbreaking point in the film, was seeing that the old homemade was pretty much doing the same thing they were, just in a more legit way.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because like she said, hey, yeah, I've been feeding him, but I've been feeding him off my wages.
Yeah, like I use my money.
Right.
And they, they already like kind of say something about her like eating double, and that's like, oh, that's why she eats double. It's like, no, I pay for what I give him.
Right. And I feel like that goes to show the true struggle was of character.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And it was like the only thing that was truly poor in the film was character.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because even though, granted, the original housemaid, shout out to the lady that was allergic to the peaches, even though she was sneaking him in, it wasn't like she was directly trying to deceive the people per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was quarters that weren't
Occupied.
accounted for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And she fed him off her own dime and only at a certain pace. And I think the film alludes that maybe he had like mental disorder.
Yeah, he did seem a little
off.
Yeah, because obviously, he's weird, but then he says things like he didn't qualify for. I think there's this called like federal pension or something like that, which I guess is like the equivalent of our Social Security. And so, because I did wonder, I'm like, why is she working? You know what I'm saying? He's not. And it's like to the point where her wages is the only way that they're living. It's like I get debts, because that was the other thing. I'm like, what are their debts that, that's so bad?
What is your debt? Who do you owe in the hood? Where they beating up old women?
I mean, her lip was busted, her eye was swole.
You know what I'm saying? Also, hey, where your old man at? I don't know. Okay, yeah.
I'm saying they tore her up, and she was a nice, slow, put together old lady.
But you see, but the thing is though, the shocking part though, homeboy, the old handmaid's husband, the one that was living secretly, he ain't give a damn about that ass whooping she took though, because you never seen him flinch when she showed up, when she was saying like, oh yeah, that's added up to this.
No, she did. She was like, I'll tell you about it later.
No, but then she elaborated and expressed it, and he really ain't flinched too much.
And so what could he do?
So shout out to so one of my favorite parts of the movie, I just got to put this out there, is how the director paid homage to different films, right? Like I saw Safe Room in that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I saw 300.
Here we go.
I saw 300 in that. And
see 300, Dev.
King Leonidas, right, had this iconic moment in the movie 300 where he kicked the Persian messenger straight down the hole of hell, right? So, and so the mother of the Kim family, right? She pulled the smoothest karate kick, like. And kick that woman back to the depths of hell where she came.
That was super disrespectful. Her body bounced down them stairs.
It was so nonchalant too.
It was. She was just like, oh, I'm gonna stir this pie and kick this bitch and keep it going.
She didn't think twice. She hit that smooth kick, and you ain't hear no impact or nothing.
No,
it was a push. You know what I'm saying?
And then it's just.
And then she made sure nothing came back up. And then she went about the business. I was like, man, that's thug right there.
That's terrible.
That's gangster right there.
Oh my God.
And my man with Plymouth Rock. I ain't mean to cut you off, but my man with Plymouth Rock, right? So something we got to express about the movie. So the dude that played Kevin, which is the son in the Kim family, he had this rock that his homie boy gave him, right? And that rock was supposed to bring wealth, which it did. It did. You know what I'm saying? Because they were pulling the okie doke left and right. For a moment of time. But when the mother of the Kim family kicked the old handmaid down them steps, that led to that death-defying concussion. My man that was downstairs locked in the basement snapped like drumsticks out this joke.
He definitely snapped. That was it.
and when Kevin went downstairs to finish the job with the with the two living in the basement, he had a rude awakening.
Real rude, yeah.
And my man Psychosis came out of nowhere, you know what I'm saying, and hit my man with a bop bop. But he grabbed that stone that my man had, and he's like, and he gave him a hell of a blessing, boy. You know, it's like if I had to picture like the Chinese version of David and Goliath, you know what I'm saying, with the stone, just without the slingshot, you know what I mean? There was no slingshot. That man picked that joke up and was like, "Hey, I got something for you." Bing! but the thing is, when he dropped that rock on my man's head and that arm went up and flopped up, I was like, "That's the icing on the cake."
That was terrible.
That was beautiful directory right there. that was the vision. I saw the vision. I was like, you know what? It was written in the stars. That's what made that movie a great film. That kick down the stairwell and that rock.
Yep.
See, I like how they brought tension on the wealthy and the poor, and like the whole movie kind of felt like in a way of like going like dealing with capitalism a little bit. You know how the people who has the money stays wealthy, and how the people who are poor pretty much can't get up. You know, can't find a come up one night, and like just the point in the movie where all of them is in the living room talking whatnot, and they were saying how nice the Parks family is, you know, but the mother says not like they're only nice because they're rich, you know.
But you see, that also showed a different struggle. It did show between the rich and the poor, but also showed the struggle between the poor that are trying to come up with in the moralistic way and the poor that are trying to come up fast.
Right.
Because in that same conversation, in that same notion, you see that the old handsmaids, the one that the original lady, the one with the peach allergy, she was like, "We're like you," when she was trying to communicate.
Yeah, when she was in that desperate state, not knowing what was going on.
I don't even know if I want to call it desperate.
Well, she was desperate to protect her husband, not desperate like.
I feel like it's more so the transparency of the struggle. You know, it's like I feel like that's that point where it's like as people, where everybody knows what a hard time is. I don't give a damn who you is. Some people's hard times is different. You know what I mean? My hard time might be, my family might not eat good for 3-4 days, and we might be doing the Vienna sausages and ramen noodles.
Gang.
You know, somebody else is not doing so good means, hey, we can't have Starbucks for a week. You know what I'm saying? And if you've been privy to Starbucks every day, you know, that might be a struggle to you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it just is what it is. But I feel like it was that transparent. It showed that transparency, and it showed the fight between, is a way to do this thing. It's a right and a wrong way to do things.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the other hidden message in this thing, because it's like the rich are rich. You know what I'm saying? And it's like there was no backstory. There was no backstory on the rich family, so we don't know how they came up. You dig what I'm saying? We just knew they were successful. But what we do know, we had two people that were at the bottom. We had two families that were at the bottom, and the con artist family did not want to give up their crumb of a lie to help out another person in the struggle, and both of them are in the struggle. So it's been, because I mean, everybody could have won.
Yeah, I did think about that. Like, were they gonna strike a deal where both housekeepers were gonna be there? I mean, something, you know. But that's not what happened. Because you're right, it does challenge where you stand morally, no matter where you stand with your finances. In this.
Yeah, because like, I'm pretty sure if they just all sat down and talked, they could have worked out a deal. You know, even though as the old housekeeper, I felt some kind of way knowing that
You got
oh,
conned.
you con me and you cost me my job, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, so I guess that's where they probably was, looking at it like, okay, like she's not gonna be willing to
get down.
to take a deal, knowing that we caused her livelihood,
Mm-hmm.
The part that if I was an old maid that would have had me would have been like, y'all so and so's were shaving peaches on me.
She never figured that out.
But I mean, I feel like you figured it out when she went and got that bag of peaches and was like, you know what, Heifer, eat every piece of this peach. You know what I mean?
It's terrible.
And she was just rubbing the peach and everything in her face and everything. I was like, that's a different level of like spite. You know what I mean?
Definitely a different level of spite.
Like it's one thing to throw hands. You could have bust upside the head with a crock pot or something like that.
Nah. Peach gang up in here.
But I know you really allergic. Like she was allergic to this peach shaving.
Just the fur off the peaches is in her in a spell.
But the thing that had me puzzled was how is this family so broke when they're so brilliant?
Well, that's the thing. Again, that goes with our morals. It's like you could have all the skills in the world. There's somebody out here who, I don't want to knock anybody's hustle, but there's somebody out here who's got a penny business, but they've got $1 million business mentality, but those things haven't met. I mean, because you see them, you see their conning style just when they were just trying to get the brother that pizza job, at the beginning of the film. Now he's able to finesse his way into getting paid, and I guess it's paid well enough comparatively, you know what I'm saying, to be a tutor, 3 days a week, whatever is the arrangement, and then her being the art teacher and all of that. Like, they felt like, oh, we in the money now. You know what I'm saying? But it does take that notation about yourself. It's like, well, where do I stand? Like, with my moral, what do I think about myself? It's like, I can con my way into somebody else's pocket. But how much more better would you have been if y'all could, like, you created a housekeeping business of your own straight out of your house. So then all you got to do is you show up at these rich folks' house and you make your bread. You know what I'm saying? If you truly have the ability to cater to children who have, in his case, he's, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and he's acting out, and he's, you meet him with the art. A couple Googles got you in that place where you could still offer that service to multiple children. And you all had that potential to have a business off of what you're doing, but instead you rather just dip all your hands into this one pocket of this other family because you don't realize your skill level doesn't just stop at conning your way in, but it is a true potential skill for yourself. But it's like that morals and that thinking meets that skill. What do you do with it?
Yeah, because I think part of that may also be effective how Mr. Ho trying to paint that picture of how a lot of times with in the business world or just in the world altogether is not, it's like it's who you know because like Kevin only gets the job because he knew the previous guy and whatnot, and the old housekeeper got her job because recommendation.
Oh, you talking about the Asian Brad Pitt?
Asian Brad Pitt? Oh yeah, that's his friend.
Yeah, the friend that got him.
Mean.
Yeah, Ming. Yeah.
Mean men.
Yeah, my man Ming was smooth. He was slugging in a can of oil, boy. My man had the game down. Pat, boy.
Cause like the father, they said it like he had many different jobs. He was a driver, he was a valet, he had a restaurant business of some kind. But everything folded for whatever the reasons.
I think that was like an underlying message too. It's like you gotta have an exit strategy too. Oh, you gotta have a goal because they were banking too hard. They were banking too hard on the hustle. You know what I'm saying? With no
end game.
With no end game. They were just
happy to have money in their pocket.
Well, I guess the end game was like trying to get the tutor to smash the student.
But even that was an afterthought. That wasn't an end game.
FX.
They were just like, oh, you getting in good with the daughter. All right, we can make this work. But it's just like I said, I feel like that conversation that they had, it was a pivotal point in the movie, not just because soon after that, everything went to hell.
Yeah, everything.
But it was a realization that it was almost like they were at the brink of a real realization. It's like, what were we do? What is our end game? You know, now that we're in this kind of pocket of we got this made, how would we go on from here? And honestly, if that was fully thought through, I mean, the rest of the movie probably wouldn't have happened because it's like, okay, maybe we should phase out and we all conveniently have a reason at different points why we can't keep it stuff. I mean, maybe the mom could stay because, I mean, it's otherwise a legit job other than the fact that she's just the last of the family members to join the team. You know, same thing with the dad. The dad could probably stay a driver and they could just say they met and fell in love even though they were already, you know, married. But with the daughter and the son, you guys are presenting yourselves as this particular profession that has a cap. Because, like, you know, the girl's going to eventually grow up and go to college. You know what I'm saying? The son is eventually going to phase out of how detrimental the stress is for him. And I did find it interesting that, like, I didn't put it together until it really happened. Like, this ghost that he saw, this trauma that he had was the husband of the former high schooler. He was terrifying.
It was creepy as hell.
Like, I'm surprised this guy. So, but you said he did write a horror film, Mr. Ho. He wrote a horror film, which is the.
Yeah.
Wait. No, you're saying that the actor was in the horror film. Because that moment, like, I'd be shook too. 6 or 16 at that point, like them eyeballs coming up off them stairs, and then he just kind of dips away because, like, oh shit, somebody was here. I was like, oh, that was scary. But it all, you know, ties together that if they could just really given it some thought. I really thought she was coming to kill them. I'm not gonna lie. When the housekeeper came.
Oh yeah,
She was so suspicious. She was jacked up. I'm like, we're not gonna talk about how messed up her face is. Like, I got a lot of questions. She was poised. Like, she had her hair in a little swooshy swoosh and her glasses when she was working. And she came in, she was looking busted and hurt. And nobody addressed that. Like, hey, she looks messed up. Should we be concerned about letting her in? And the fact that first thing she did was cut the wires to the camera.
That's how you know black folk won't in this thriller. Because as soon as you would have seen somebody ring the doorbell and you would have hit the intercom, you'd be like, what you want? I left something. What was just left?
It's just left. But look,
Where you left? I'll get it. I'll get it. Yeah, I'll go get it for you.
Where is that?
Send me your address. I'll send it to you. But yeah, like, there's a lot of little suspicious things. She cut the wire. She's looking jacked up. She was like, I know that the people ain't home, but I just was hoping if you just let me in.
Yeah.
It was like all of that. I'd be like, oh hell no, no ma'am. So that I want to know their backstory a little bit though, because she went hard for her husband, and he eventually went hard for her to avenge her.
Yeah, man, my man. That. So in the movie, the husband of the original housemaid knew Morse code. He figured out Morse code, and he was tied up. So the Kim family tied them both up so that they couldn't be factors as far as like snitching. And so my man was duct taped and all, and he was beating his face against the button that flicked on the lights so that he could relay a Morse code message to what the young boy that was a Boy Scout almost figured out. Mm-hmm. But I ain't gonna lie, you see the love of your life go down for the count. That'll make anybody snap.
It's true. I mean, he obviously was on the edge of whatever he was on the edge of as it was. But that definitely put him over because she truly took care of him. I feel like in his, I'll say simple state, because again, I don't know what's wrong with him. Mm-hmm. You know, she fed him. You know, he talked about how he misses her jokes. They reminisced about how they danced together when the family was away. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had a sweet rapport. So that's his version of love. And he made peace with living down there. You heard him say that. He was like, just let me live down here. Let me be good. And to see, you know, kind of like your lifeline and the person that you love go down, and you know why. Like, you don't know who did it, but everybody can catch this fire. I mean, that man was beating his face on that button to the point where his face was bleeding. How many of y'all will be tied up, half special, and will fight for your loved one to the point of bleeding just to get a message out in hopes? That's some deep stuff. Like, I feel like there was undertone. There was like so many side stories, so many side perspectives that were happening in that film. Because I feel like even the son, he went by Kevin. Kevin was the alias. His name was like Ji Woo or Kai Woo or something.
Well, his name translates to Kevin.
Oh, his name translates to Kevin. So,
like the daughter's name translates to Jessica.
It translates to Jessica? Yeah. Okay. So
wow.
I thought they just did like aliases for that, but but he even had a moment. It was just like, he said to his sister at that pivotal night before everything went down, he was just like, you kind of look like you fit in here. And he questioned, he's like, do I fit into this world? It was like, I dig this girl and I'm conning this family, but if I did this more legitly, would I still want to be here? And all these little moments that they each have, is like the dad is taking a level of disrespect along the way, and now he's making money, he's conning like everybody else is conning. He still hates that his wife talks junk about him. His daughter doesn't expect anything from him. And his son is probably like his last person who's like, I believe in you, Dad, but if you don't have a plan, I got a plan too, Dad, And it just like, it shows, you're right, like how men feel in society, expectation that they're supposed to have, and what finally breaks you in who you are,
Facts.
For that man, he was fine living, down below this family and getting his scraps that his wife, provided for him lovingly. And he snapped when she died. You know what I'm saying? The son had this opportunity. He probably wasn't even thinking about trying to get at girls and progressing himself beyond like just the next job. Then he gets this opportunity, and everything is sitting right, and he still questions like, do I belong here? I feel like other people, you don't get to see their character arc, if you will. It's like with the mom. The mom was like steadfast. I'm gonna keep the same energy, rich or not. This is who I am. Same thing with the daughter. I feel like she recognizes a certain level of skill that she had. She was my favorite. I was sad that she died, but it's like I keep this energy. It's like, and no matter what, I'm gonna be as confident. I'd be dead wrong. Sis said she Googled art therapy. She didn't even know what she was talking about. But the amount of confidence that she brought to it, everybody was fooled. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, there's nothing wrong with being 100% who you are, no matter what the setup is, But it was interesting just to see all these little things. And I feel like if you continue to watch it, you could see other peelings of layers of something that could be kind of thought about. It's like, what do you value? Like, they valued not having that Wi-Fi more than the fact that their table dinner was a couple of cans of soda and some bags of chips.
Facts.
Yeah. So, what y'all thought about the ending? Like, you feel like it was fantasy, or that's what actually happened?
Yeah.
I think it's wishful thinking.
I concur.
My man got bust upside the head.
Yeah.
With 3/4 of a boulder. and they had to give him corrective brain surgery that when he came out of, he just laughed at everything.
Had all the giggles, yeah.
So there's a level of sense that has been
gone.
Yeah, it's like that rock literally detached him from a sense of reality that he very much needed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's not too many people. I mean, when somebody puts the hatred of hell behind a stone throw, but it's not a stone. It's like 75% of a mountain.
Oh my God.
My man got hit with the whole Appalachian.
Stupid.
My man got hit with 8/10 of the rocket. It had to get surgery. But it's a beautiful story. The ending looks beautiful, right? Because even though they're a con artist, you root for them more than anybody because you get that level of attachment because we can draw to that. With that being said, I would hope that this would happen, but my man ain't got no common sense. Literally. Like all the good sense has been knocked out my man many moons ago, and I can't see it. But so I think it was him fantasizing about what he wants to happen. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like logically I can't put it together. It's like you're a criminal. I mean, and your dad is hanging on by the grace of acting like a life-size version of Jerry sneaking out for scrap.
Like from Tom and Jerry?
Yeah, Tom and Jerry. You know what I mean? So I think it was fantasy, and but I liked it though. I liked it though. It's like I in my heart of hearts, I'm like, if they had like a continuance, I would like to see that conclusion because even though what they did was wrong, I feel like they were sinning for all the right reasons to a degree. You know what I mean? But with that being said, I would say I could have came to happy medium because the original housemaid, she ain't deserved that.
Yeah, she did.
So, but like, to answer the question though, I think it was a fantasy. I think they played out what he wants to happen. But I feel like he's just as simple as the man that busts him upside the head is. So I don't see that happening. That's my thought.
I have to agree to an extent. I was like, you see it, you as a viewer, you get to see his fantasy kind of come to life. But that's how I see it. I see it as a fantasy. I think this letter that he writes to his son will ultimately be like his last letter kind of thing. I feel like the only piece that they can have at this point is the one that they create in their mind. I mean, as you said, the surviving two are criminals. They are mourning the loss of their sister and her daughter. And even with the knowledge of knowing, like, okay, dad's not dead, or he's just kind of a fugitive living in the very house that, corrupted us, so to speak, I don't foresee that as being a possibility. I did want to know, I don't know if you guys are following, this stone that Dev is referencing was originally given to our first character, Kevin, and it's supposed to be like a kind of like a symbol of prosperity. It's just like they're from, I wouldn't say it's from like rich places like royal places. It's like a collector's item, and it's not a small thing. It's like, maybe like a centerpiece size stone. And when he first gets it, he takes it as a good omen. And from there, the family's getting in where they fit in. And so in their mind, this truly is that symbol. And it's funny how that symbol kind of follows throughout the story. So like, first is your symbol of y'all getting on. And so you do. Then it's the symbol that that they end up losing their home, their poor home on the side of town or where they live, to getting flooded out, or at least temporarily. And he clutches onto the stone as his chance, like, okay, this is going to turn around. Or so we think as the viewers. And then ultimately he's trying to use the stone to get rid of the housekeeper and her husband, who are, at this point, at least out of their wits and bound downstairs. And then ultimately is what takes him out when he's originally attacked with like a jar. I think it was a jar that the housekeeper's husband was polishing off when he said, "That's it, my girl's gone, everybody can get it." And ultimately, literally, he drops the stone on Kevin's head and gives the iconic moment that Devin referenced where his body even kind of convulses. And we're like, oh, he's done for it. He's laying in a pool of his blood. He's got that boulder drop on his head. There's no way he's coming back from that. And even in the fantasy that the dad has, you can see the son kind of recovering the stone miraculously out of like water, like it's a good omen, like this is that next step. And I feel like all of that plays into this notion. It's like that stone had nothing to do with it, to agree. It may not have been good fortune like you attested it to be. Your circumstances is what you created. Just like even now, it's like, you're right. He's not silly, to say the least. I mean, he was laughing uncontrollably after having brain surgery, only to discover, your sister had passed. You and your mom are are on probation through grace and mercy because there was no murder charges against them. And then you have no idea where your daddy is, just to find out that he's basically his own prisoner downstairs where y'all were. It's like, I don't see him coming around to create that world where he's rich enough to buy that home, because that was his father's wish. It's like, I hope you and your mom get it together. Y'all can buy this house and I can be free. But I don't see that being possible. But it is a beautiful notion. It's like, it's what we all hope for. It's like when everything goes to shit, it's like there's still that sliver in you that says, but what if?
What you don't know is, if you research the film, that stone, that's part of the media, right, that took out the dinosaurs. That's what you don't know. And that's why it's so powerful.
If you look up, you'll see that Devin is full of crap.
But on a serious note, I kind of feel like I feel like the ending doesn't matter. Because I feel like regardless whether, he does find a way to buy the house or not, I feel like the father is pretty much is doomed to the basement for the rest of his life. Cause like,
to the house at least, yeah.
Because like you look at it, even if he buys the house, he can't leave the house.
Right.
He's one of a murder.
Right.
So regardless, whether he, is free from the basement or not, like he can never leave that house.
But if you give me unlimited chicken wings, all but like I could drink, and my old lady, what more do I need?
Chicken and bear. Such is life.
Such a what? Such a what? Go ahead.
Such an urban youth.
Urban youth.
My goal on this podcast is to get one of them edits. Is one of these days y'all gonna be listening, or you gonna hear that doop like something had to get cut out. That's because James gonna slip. That's because James gonna slip.
James would never slip.
Whatever.
I kind of feel that too. Like if you were trapped at the house, I guess it's better to be amongst familiars and not, like a ghost creeping in and getting scrapped.
Facts. I mean, you gotta think. It's like if you give me the solace of the people that care about me the most, I'm at peace.
There's no one.
Dang.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dang.
I had the same thing.
Such a time.
Your lug nuts on your car gonna be loosened. I don't know how it happened.
Well, if your truck you driving tomorrow at work busting flames.
Oh my God.
It wasn't me.
You know what? I hope there's no little snack in your Lunchable tomorrow.
Specifically, just a little sugary snack.
Yeah, I hope there's no Butterfinger. I hope there's no brownie.
A single Oreo.
I hope it ain't not a damn thing in that damn Lunchable. I hope it's just meat, cheese, and crackers. That's all I.
That's it. An uneven amount, so you gotta make it work.
I hope you get a Hot Pocket with no filling in it. You know what I'm saying?
Just air.
You know what?
It's not working.
And I hope your water has no water in it.
I hope the next time you drink Hennessy is Flint, Michigan water. That's what I hope. That's it.
Wow.
You know what? God bless you, Jay. Bless you. And bless you again. I'm gonna give you the bless you finger. You see, that's a pinky. I'm gonna give you that's the blessing.
I like how the
I'll rain double blessings over you.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, I make sure you had the first shot. First shot is all yours.
Yeah, the Flint water.
You see, James is always being mean to me. This is my first.
You the one who said that I have no snacks in my Lunchables.
That was hurtful then.
What? He started it. He the one who said nobody like me.
I'm sitting here thinking about an empty Hot Pocket, like how disappointing that would be. You know what I'm saying? Like
you just bite into it,
Well, I always look forward to little cheese that leaks out the side. That's how you know it's cooked through all the way. Just to go.
Like, it'll be a compilation of like communion crackers. That's exactly what it'll be.
You just be dry.
If your Hot Pocket has no filling, is it a Hot Pocket?
Huh?
It's the question.
It's just a pocket. That's what I thought.
It's just
a pocket of air.
It's an empty pocket. Oh, yeah.
But I did feel like the acting in this movie was awesome.
Oh, it was spot on.
Superb.
It was spot on. And the chemistry that everybody had.
Seriously, I did have a moment where I was just like, this is a movie. These aren't real people. Like, these people woke up every day for however long to play these characters, and they did it so well.
And both families felt like true families.
Yeah.
Like, the rich family felt like they were disconnected enough to be a genuine, real, like, rich family that really doesn't, like, get along. Like, you got a mother who's overly dedicated to the kids because she really doesn't have a relationship with her husband. And then they were some odd freaks. It's like they masturbated each other, you know.
Which it was, I guess for the discretion, but not very discreet moment.
But it's like the stuff that got them off, You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like,
What?
buy me drugs. It's
Yeah,
like,
she's like, yeah. She's like, well, because, like, you know, the fantasy was like that she'd be wearing these, you know, these prostitute druggy drawers that they found in the car at one point that ultimately got the original driver fired. And so he's all like, yeah, wear the panties, that'd be hot. And she's like, yeah, and you can buy me drugs. And it's just like, what kind of
weird
kick are y'all
fantasy?
into?
It's like this is like a different level of role playing. It's like,
well, you know, I feel like some of the conversations he had with the dad as the driver.
and allude to the fact that he really won't feel in her like that.
Yeah, because he asked him multiple occasions, like, but you love her. Because what I did find interesting, especially, you know, living in like a southern place, living in this modern world where, like, as a woman, you have to have like a balance of you're going to be like a boss, you still do your homely, domesticated things. And he talked about how, like, she can't clean, she can't cook, she don't know really what to do with the kids. And
in the South, we call that ain't worth a damn.
Ain't worth it with two F's.
With two F's.
And so when the driver's like, but you love her though, and he was like, yeah.
We'll call it love, you know what I mean?
yeah, that part. Whoops. And there's multiple occasions where you see it's like, is there like a love there? There's obviously disconnecting. This man spends ages, you know, away. He misses his own son's trauma because he's away working, and then it's just like, okay, hire whoever, pay whoever, it's fine. You know, it shows like y'all should have the most time to build a relationship because she doesn't have to really do anything. She's not working. She takes care of the kids, you know, vicariously. She assigns people to kind of make that job easier for herself. But here it is, like the hottest moment y'all can have is fantasizing about somebody else's drawers.
And drugs.
And drugs. Let me talk about how they were doing all this. Not like hot and steamy and after shower time or something like that. No, they were like full blown like Macy's Christmas ad pajamas.
You know, I knew I seen them pajamas before. If y'all ever saw an episode of Banana and Pajamas?
Yes, that part.
They had the banana and pajamas on. Full blown.
Like, I don't even say pajamas. I say PJs.
Yeah. Straight like that.
I say PJs or night clothes. They didn't have night clothes on. They have full blown pajamas.
Yeah,
you got to pronounce the word for what they were wearing. Pajamas.
The matching set, you know what I mean?
They were matching, weren't they?
Because you know us from the group home, North Virginia, baby. We, you know, fellas, we'll do basketball shorts, you know what I'm saying, with no drawers under it, you know what I'm saying? We'll do basketball shorts and a white beater, you know what I mean? Or if you're a female, you just either find some shorts he ain't wearing, you know what I'm saying, or you find something, you know, similar like them Daisy Dukes, you know what I'm saying, you know, sleep with. But these jokers had on matching. Like they look like they were the same size. It's like
it might have been.
It's like they look like they were the same size. It's like they both look like they were like 32 Slims, and it's like yo, it's like that's crazy, you know, that's crazy. What? But there again, though, I do feel like that's the different tones because it's like Bob Marley made this quote. He was like, he said he feels sorry for the poor because all they have is money. You dig what I'm saying? And like you can have all the money in the world, you know what I mean? The poor family was more close knit because you got to go through the struggle together, and it's not just because it's a struggle; it's because it's life.
It's life, and it's who you love. It's like, you know, the father. I think he brought up, you know, you love her, not because you know he was trying to get at the wife or anything like that, but more like, okay, yeah, I'm hearing like all the downsides, but when you love somebody, you work through that. I mean, clearly, their love kept them through a lot.
Yeah, I mean, anytime your ceiling is 6 inches away from your toilet, and
seriously,
and y'all are using the fumigations, the public fumigations as exterminate the stink bugs that's crawling in your house. And there again, it's like y'all get a little bit of money and y'all spend it, y'all splurging and y'all splurging, y'all big balling, and that includes salsa water and potato chips. That's love.
That's a different kind of love.
That's that Diggs Park love. That's that Tidewater Park love. That's that hood love. You know what I mean? You know, that's that. You know, I drive a '92 Honda Accord with the Betty Boop seats and the fuzzy steering wheel cover. But you but you drop me off at work so you can go ahead and ride around. That's that kind of love. You know what I mean?
Could you imagine Dev in the aforementioned vehicle? I'm just trying to imagine you in the Betty Boop. Like, I can't.
Well, shout out to Just one of my sweethearts and my comedians that got me in her little mini coupe one time. It's like
that was hilarious.
You see,
that was the mini coupe afterwards, huh?
It was stretched out a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
You can see the top of his head through the sunroof.
It's like you got the side got stretch marks on the on the doors. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know nothing about that. You know what I mean? It's like it's like I sat here in Mini Coupe and my legs so long I punched holes in the bottom. So now the transmission don't work. We got a Fred Flintstone it, get the running start at it's like straight Flintstone style. But
for a Mini Coupe to a 4-door, huh?
Man, listen, it's an exaggerated coupe. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's an extended coupe. It's like a run-on sentence. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, that was an experience. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you had to hold the seatbelt in because it wasn't enough seatbelt to click in.
Oh.
So you just gotta hold it there and just hold on for dear life.
Yeah, nothing reckless about that.
You ever sit in a car and you so heavy that you cancel out all the electricity on the side of the car that you in.
What?
So I'm sitting on the right side of the car. She ain't got no blinker light no more on the right side. So I gotta hold my hand out. You know what I mean? We going this way. We go. I'm for the group home. Yeah, straight like that. Straight like that.
That's what the bike symbols are.
Yeah, no, you see, that's when you pay attention to the DMV book. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
part. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Those pictures, baby. Those pictures.
The pictures. You know what I'm saying?
Very important. Very important.
You see, because that's why a lot of y'all don't got no license now. Y'all tell people y'all license suspended. It's like, no, the only part y'all could pass was the pictures. Mm-hmm. The part with the reading part, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know Hooked on Phonics ain't work for y'all. Shout out to Hooked on Phonics.
Shout out Hooked on Phonics.
If the 80s babies know something about Hooked on Phonics.
I can see the little cards right now.
Yeah, the cards and the K. Yeah!
Mama had it in there. Because you can hear the white lady.
And we still ain't graduate college. You hooked on Phonics. You smart as hell from K to 3rd. After
That's
that.
it. It's ball game.
Boy, they look like, man, maybe we should put him in the remedial class.
Can't get right.
How you get remedial coloring, you know what I'm saying?
Remedial coloring. But I feel like what we were getting to is just like the realness. We really believe these characters. Like I feel like the acting was just that good.
It was spot on.
It wasn't overly dramatic. It was just real,
And it was so good. Mm-hmm. It hurt.
Yeah. You felt for him.
Yeah.
I mean...
Especially when Olga dies. On the daughter.
Oh, man, listen, man.
I'm like, dang.
Because you don't see it coming. Like, my man just straight said, hey, steak knife style.
Yeah, and she just bled. He just hit the right spot, and she just bled.
She just bled out.
But you can kind of see she's just like, this kind of hurt. Like, I don't know if I can deal with this. Like, that kind of chuckle. I wonder if there's like a little psychosis that happened there because she's just so gangster all the way through to the end.
Well, I think she was the thug of the family.
Definitely.
Well, obviously, like the women were the thugs of the family.
Because moms didn't get shit either.
No, so it's like, I can dig it, but it's like, she kept her character true to the end, and as I can appreciate about that, it's like, because it's like a lot of like directors and stuff like that, writers, when they portray death, like the character breaks character. Mm-hmm. It's like a softening part. Like shout out to Starship Troopers. Mm. You remember when Dizzy died? Mm-hmm. And she's like, hold me, John. You know what I mean? And it's like, but Dizzy has been like badass the whole movie. You know what I'm saying? But you come to this point where it's like, you're going to go see your maker. So I can appreciate that because I feel like a character I can grow an attachment to is themselves all the way
100%.
to the end. Even the father, the father,
I feel he was true.
well, he was true to his character all the way to the message because it's like you saw that you could see like the reading in between the lines or reading in between the scenes, if you will, that he wanted the best for his family. It's just in a way, it's like he didn't know how to get that.
I feel like that's okay.
And he was dropping nuggets because I felt that whole thing when he was like,
no plan is
the best plan. Because don't get me wrong, I feel like you should have an idea how you want it to work, but I feel like you should be open to change. And I feel like that's what he ultimately was trying to say. Is like because a lot of us, we get derailed by the bad things that happen in our life. And we stop. And I feel like that's what happened to the father. Whatever happened in his life, he stopped. But the thing is, though, the reason he's telling his children that I got a plan is because even though we might be facing a small derailment, I got this. So that y'all don't get derailed. True. Because I need you to be able to adapt. And adaptation is like the spice of life. I know your new podcast followers are looking like, man, they always got alcohol on Sunday.
Oh, do they know it's Sunday?
They do know it's now.
Now they do.
Now they do. Every Sunday. This Sunday and every Sunday.
But,
sip Sunday.
Baby, sip Sunday.
Sip something. You ain't sipping, you ain't trying.
You ain't trying. You ain't trying. You know?
Sip something Sundays.
And you got to, like, you want to have a truly holistic experience or a holy experience or a divine experience?
Wait, you said holy or whole?
Both.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Get clarified.
Go ahead and you see, I think churches should switch to putting Hennessy in them little communion cups anyway.
Why Hennessy?
And make it a shot glass about this size. You know what I'm saying? You know, and look, right, if you really want to get, I'm gonna tell you the trick if you want to get people to come to your church. Get all the chicken biscuits you can on Saturday from Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that part.
And the chicken too?
Because look, right, we need to get with the times, church. You know what I mean? It's like, look, right, I understand that the broken body, you know what I'm saying, that your Lord and Savior has been represented by these flimsy ass crackers for so long. But a chicken biscuit does the same ordeal.
And we found out that the Chick-fil-A chicken is halal, which means it's like done in a holy kosher way.
You see, Big Dev is going to tell y'all why Chick-fil-A is so good, and then we're going to get back to the movie. Chick-fil-A is so good is because they got a priest in the back of the kitchen, and, you know, and the chickens, they get prayed for. They get a little bit of splash of the holy water on them.
Just a splash.
And they got their little chicken robes on, you know what I'm saying? They get baptized. You know what I'm saying? Boop, and then they give their life freely because they understand that they sacrifice on this plane. They got a place. They got a chicken coop in the sky that has been prepared for them. You know what I'm saying? And you see, all chickens go to heaven. You know why? Because the thing is they have to face the heat of the furnace in our kitchens and in our deep fryers. So it's like they don't have to burn again. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Devin Roberts.
It's your boy Big Dave from the group home.
Whole food.
So going to our grading scale from the scale of $0 to $15, how would y'all rate this movie?
I'll let you go first.
I'm still a frugal franny when it comes to it, but so my max is always gonna be 10, and I definitely give them that. I feel like it was a good ride, and unexpected, and I kind of like that. I don't want a level of predictability. I don't know if it's because it was a foreign film that it had that kind of feel to it, and you got characters you can follow and get into, and it's not cliche because, oh, it's the one girl or, you know, the underdog. It's a little bit of everything. So yeah, I give them my full 10 spot so I can spend the rest on snacks.
I give it a 13.50.
All right.
The only reason I keep that $1.50 is because y'all made me read and with the subtitles. You know what I mean?
Devin hates reading.
The thing is, we watch anime. We got plenty of subs and dubs with that. I don't understand. I didn't feel like it took away from the movie.
What?
The side eye is real right now.
What? I'm not lying, am I?
I love to read. I read
Comic
Dr.
books.
Seuss.
Yeah.
Picture books.
Look right. Look, how you gonna read picture books? Cause all they got is pictures.
Yeah, I think that's what's implied, dear.
Yeah. But look, you see, I get paid to say the foolishness.
Oh my God.
It's my podcast.
Ooh, that part.
Everybody know they tune in to see Big Dev comedy.
Big
Cause social media America love Big Dev and Big Dev love social media America. But I give it a 13.50. Other than the subtitles, I can't find too much wrong with the film. I love the chemistry of the characters. I love the direction of the because you said the director co-wrote, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like that was evident because it's like the flow of the story. Mm. Just be personal. The ending was too vague for me.
You don't feel like that was necessary?
I feel like there should have been. Me personally, I would like a little bit more conclusion. Mm-hmm. Not the whole like. It's almost like an old R.L. Stein Goosebumps book, where you get to a certain page and it be like, okay, well, you got a choice. You either turn to page 32 to get this ending, or you turn to page 45 to get that ending. Mm-hmm. And with such a great told story that didn't leave, it's like, it took you on a ride. Mm-hmm. It let you formulate all the opinions of the people that you wanted. It drew you into the characters. It drew you into the story. Intentionally. Mm-hmm. Intentionally give me an ending. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's like intentionally, like I didn't like the open-endedness of it. Mm-hmm. Because I'm so invested into it. Mm-hmm. I need closure in the film. I need closure. You know, it's like if we're gonna go on this ride together, and I feel like the great directors and feel like the great screenwriters do this, we go on this ride together, and we're gonna get to the same destination. Don't leave me to pick to make my choice because you know what I'm saying. You know the Big Dev thing. I'm like, okay, well the boy he's special now. You know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. He's gonna be on the short bus forever. You know, he's gonna have the handicap sticker. You know what I'm saying in the window of his car. And it's just it was that's the only thing that I could really find confliction with. Mm-hmm. Is like everything else though. It was a solid film. Mm-hmm. It was a solid film, and it was so solid that I was joking about the subtitles because the subtitles don't take away from the film. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It don't. It's like it's like it. It's actually kind of cool to a degree to be like, you know what I'm saying?
To read.
I think what people sleep on about subtitles is it kind of gives you directly what's happening. Sometimes you can mishear or just skip a detail. You can't miss it when it's on the screen.
I'm under contract not to say certain things.
This is my boundary.
You know, and he just keeps antagonizing me. You know, I know what I'm gonna do. The next time he sit in that chair and one of them legs is gonna be wobbly, and it's gonna be about 15 minutes into this podcast. You're gonna see both of them feet fly up in the air with one of them good crash and burn falls. You know what I'm saying?
Well, next week I'm gonna change chairs. You know.
Oh, okay. So you maybe not want to play that game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put X-Lax in his chicken wings next week.
In the chicken wings?
Chicken wings next week?
You see, and this is exactly how I'm gonna get him. Because
in the chicken wings.
Because his complexion is catching up with him right now.
You see what's catching up.
Because he didn't hear the X-Lax spot, he heard chicken wing. Oh, we got chicken wing? Yeah, I can sit on the toilet from chicken wing. But no.
You're right.
But like I said, I can give it a 13.50 because it was a solid story the whole way through. Mm-hmm. I really, this might sound weird. I would have paid $13 to see it at home, and not exactly in a movie theater, because I feel like at home you can give the film one-on-one attention. You dig what I'm saying? Without, because I feel like this movie was so good, only a particular kind of like viewer can truly appreciate it. So that's my final 13.50.
I feel that.
And I'm gonna go and give it a 14. I really enjoyed the movie. I like all the aspects of it, from the acting to the story to the writing to the directing, and how how he brought the picture together, you know, and all the underlining tones and messages and the messages that he kind of slid in the movie, you know, dealing with, you know, the rich and the poor, the capitalism, the colonialism, but still with the Indians, you know, how like how there was how we all know that the Native Americans was a lot more important to our history in of America, but they just viewed it as something to be
like entertained.
Yeah, entertained with, you know. You know, and it's just, there was just so many moving parts of this movie, you know, that.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah. There was a lot of little
James
notes.
is smart sometimes.
Oh Lord. Yeah, there are a lot of little moments that they reference, like America, like even with like Jessica getting in and kind of dropping like, oh yeah, she went to university in Illinois, and oh yeah, I think that driver available, they relocated to Chicago. All these drops of like American things.
The only thing that didn't make sense when it was like, oh, that tent is gonna hold up in the storm because it was made in America.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious actually.
The best quality stuff comes from Tijuana.
Yep.
When you read the tags, or Korea, you know what I'm saying? It's like we don't do too much.
I think this also goes back to like the whole colonial and capitalism thing.
Facts, big facts.
Because I guess the whole world looks at America as this big deal.
Which we are, because I'm sorry, I ain't seen nothing quite as poor as the state that the Kim family was living in. I mean, Dev makes a reference to their toilet. So it's like the bathroom wall, and you got 3 steps, and you go up that wall, and then there's the toilet.
And then about two baby hairs up is the ceiling.
Like,
and not mentioning all the houses is kind of like basements.
Yeah, like at or below floor level. Like their window is like the perspective of like our outlets at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we done seen poor, you know what I mean? That's like, at least they had toilets. I mean, some people just got dirt, you know what I mean? You dig a hole, you release inside of a hole, and then you just cover it up and like turn it into fertilizer. So at least they had irrigation.
They did, but I mean, like, got the one man just peeing on the street. That was the beef that they had, and then when the sewage, broke, like, I mean, that's like automatic flood for you. So it had a lot. Yeah, it had a lot. I felt like a level of appreciation. It did put you in that space. For me, something I took away from it that was like a direct message is just like, what would you do for your family? What would you do with your circumstances? What does that really mean for you? And what are you willing to do for it? And there's going to be opportunities where you can be a con artist and, finagle your way into something. Or you can create your own, fortune, if you will. Not just financially, but good fortune.
Like, I really do think that this movie did deserve the best picture last year.
Yeah, I can dig it. I can definitely dig it. And the moral of the story is, before you go con people and end up getting people killed and locked in basements, cocaine is always a profitable business.
We're not going to encourage the promotion of cocaine, and that's not the moral of the story.
Filmers do not condone anything that Devin says out of his mouth.
Yes, they do. That's why they got me up here, baby.
Yeah, that is a conflicting statement.
But no, I can definitely see how, and the crazy part is, it was like, you had to read it. But I feel like the reading of the text allowed them, because sometimes I feel that language barriers can take away from the potency of the delivery.
They're using big words.
Look. I scored a 635 on my SAT. I'm smart.
Out of what?
Huh?
That's amazing.
We ain't gonna talk about all that, but you know what I'm saying? Your boy took it, you know what I mean?
Weak.
But anytime a film that is from a completely different language and culture can actually deliver to you, and you can feel it in their native language, and you can still embrace everything, and you can still follow along with everything that's going on, that's powerful. Because you got a lot of American films that don't deliver that much emotion, that much clarity.
Even with speaking your language.
You know, with speaking your language, the tongue that you normally speak. So it's like, so I can dig it. I can very much so see why this was such a powerful, important, and they got their just due deserved. It was like I ain't seen the other movies that was in the running, but if they won't like this, I don't want to see it.
There you go.
And I also feel like that the tone shift in this movie was also well deserved.
Oh, big facts.
And set up. You know, like I brought this up with the Tyler Perry movie.
Cut the check, baby.
Fall from Grace. How like both movies kind of did the same thing towards the end. Like it went thriller, but I feel like with A Fall from Grace, it was so out left field. You know, like the whole movie didn't set that up. You know, but I feel like in this movie, I feel like even though it was like a big left turn, I feel like if you follow what was going on,
You could,
I feel like
you could understand it. You could see. I will say that some parts of the film were very predictable, but even with the predictability, it still kept like the story fresh and entertaining.
Oh yeah, I feel like it was enough of a predictability. It was like, okay, I can kind of see that going that way, but for me, it was also enough of an unpredictability. It was like
Facts.
like I said, there's a level of realism. It's like the story itself kind of sounds crazy, but the way it unfolded, it was such a natural way. It wasn't like all of a sudden, oh, such and such is a serial killer. It's like, no, it's like they defended themselves, things got out of hand. That's more realistic to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even with him snapping, it was like he's already mentally unstable, and then there he just saw his baby die. It was like everybody can get it. That's a real thing. You know what I'm saying?
That's a true
It's not just like
emotion.
the whole time he was plotting on it. It was like, no, he was happy down there.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like everything had a level of realism. Even the turnout was like, you know, you root for your character, but you understand that, like, you know, so people were taking some real hits out here. I mean, he just put a butcher knife right up in her chest. Like,
And everything served a purpose in the film. I feel like that's another thing.
There was definitely no unnecessary.
It was no unnecessary, and it was like no non-use factors. It's like, and I feel like the setup was like really, like there again, it's like the setup and the delivery. Like so, as a person that tells jokes, you understand that the setup leads to the punch, and you don't want to be explaining the setup too much to where like, oh, okay, they already figured out the punch before you deliver it, but you don't want the punch to be so far-fetched that it's like, okay, well, what the hell did you give me all that setup for? And I feel like this executed extremely perfect, because if they were shady characters, they were shady characters. It's like, you know, they were running the okie doke on the family, and my man was kissing his homeboy's boojang. So it's like,
Oh yeah.
hey, he was a con whole way through.
A con.
Yeah. With that said, we're gonna end the podcast here. My mind just drew a blank.
That's his normal state.
Oh, shade.
It's like a shook and hex sketch. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know.
It's all clean.
I call it for being around you for too much. You know.
That's fine.
Like you can take on but so much Devin. You know.
Yeah, taking them doses.
Yeah.
But social media America love me. And I love social media America.
Me. Yeah.
Well, with that said, make sure you go and subscribe to the channel, like and share this video.
Facts.
And you can hit us up on all social media accounts.
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
All right. So yeah, Tina's Touch _MUA on Instagram, as well as Top Model Tina hashtag, and on Facebook, same Tina's Touch and Top Model Tina.
And y'all know where y'all can find
Here we go.
your boy at. Your boy Big Dev from the group home, baby. All you gotta do is go on Instagram and type in Big Dev _comedy. I pop up. You're on Facebook, you find your boy at Big Dev Comedy. I pop up. Use my government name, Devin Roberts. I pop up. You know what I mean? It is like it is your boy. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy, Big Dev from the group home, aka the 757 favorite play cousin, aka I do barbecues, bar mitzvahs. I do Hanukkah specials. I do it all. I do Christmas. I do Kwanzaa. No, I do it all. Whatever you need.
What was you about to do?
I am working on it, baby.
Somebody cut his mic.
Oh, but hey, Mr. Ho, cut the check, baby. Cut the check. You know what? That's fine. You know what? That's fine. America gonna hear me. Mr. Ho, cut the check, aka your boy, the shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Cut the check. Tyler Perry, cut the check. Deadpool, cut the check. Yeah, I'ma be heard. With that said, you can also go and follow Film Nerds on Facebook at Film Nerds Podcast and on Twitter Film Nerds 1. And we would like to share, subscribe, and check out Dream College Films. The link will be in the description. Actually, it'll be posted. Right here somewhere. Part over here. Right this one.
You can find James on America Most Wanted and 1888 Lock You Up. All right, praise God.
And my accomplice is Devin. If I go down, he goes down.
And so it's been said.
But anyways, I've been James. It's been Christina and Devin. Have a nice night.